Hi there, Johnny Friesen joining you today with my first mortgage. What did my first mortgage look like? Was it recently? No, it was actually quite a long time ago. It was between 2008 and 2009. I don't remember the exact date. It was somewhere around there. Our rate was 4.56%. It's seared in my mind for good reason. We almost lost our house. Right now, there's a lot of people that are going to be going through some turmoil. I want to walk you through kind of what a mortgage rate looks like right now. I'm not going to do the details of this. We've got mortgage specialists that you can contact me and I will put you in touch with the best mortgage specialists in our area. But I will give you kind of an idea of what it looks like and then give you a scenario of what I actually went through. It wasn't just me, it was my wife and I. So let's jump back down here into the computer and we're going to take a look at the average home right now. And we're going to look at about a $550,000 mortgage. This is right on your Realtor.ca app again or website, and you're going to go to mortgage calculators. It's fantastic. This is actually the one that Rahab used to have, and I used to use it, and they actually adopted it, and it works fantastic. So $550,000. Then we're going to come down here to the typical person starting off, or somebody who's been able to save about $30,000 for a down payment. Here we are with the $30,000 down payment. You're going to pay your mandatory CMHC fee right there, which is $20,000 and $20,800. If you don't want to pay CMHC fee, see here it slowly goes down with a larger percentage down. It doesn't actually go down by the same percentage. So typically, and you could talk to a mortgage specialist who will give you better advice than I will here, but for me, I would, if I'm not going to pay 20% or more and save it completely, I would actually just pay my minimum. That's what I would do, but I like investing my money, so that's what I would do there. As we move our way down here, we can see we've got $20,000, and then the total mortgage required is $540,000. Even though you paid $30,000 down. Well, how? That's that CMHC fee. Let's go down here. We've got a 25-year mortgage. This is how long your mortgage is going to span, even though it's going to refresh usually every 5 years. Right now, a lot of people are doing 3-year terms. But it's up to you again. Talk to a mortgage specialist. And then here we're going to go to our mortgage rate, 5.5%. We're going to use that as our regular. We'd rather be a little bit high than a little bit low to calculate anything to do with money. So total mortgage payment is about $3,300 a month. If you're able to get from $30,000 down payment all the way up to $110,000, you're going to save month over month a few $100 there, and it's going to bring your mortgage down to $2,700 if you round it up a hair. Like I said, this is going to be our more typical one. Let's go with this scenario right here. Scenario 1. And here's actually where you can see your scenarios. Land transfer tax is going to be $7,475. You can save some of that in the first time purchase. I don't know what the new rules are on that. Everything's changed a bit since I purchased again. Double check with a mortgage specialist on that. We're going to go down here. Here it's going to give us kind of an idea of a breakdown, but this is what I really want you to pay attention to. This is called your amortization schedule. So you're going to see your purchase price, and slowly it gets paid down year after year after year after year until it's finally at $0 in 2047 if you bought a home today. You're going to see your principal being paid down that first year, $10,000. And your interest, $30,000. So at the beginning, you're going to pay more interest, as you can see, slowly diminishing to very little by the very end. And then your principal is actually going to start very, very high, and then it's going to, or very, very low, sorry, and then it's going to increase as you get closer to the end of your payments. This principal is how much you're paying down on your house. Interest is how much you're giving away for borrowing that money. You're giving that to the bank or the lender or whoever you're borrowing from in this instance, okay? So then we're going to scroll down here, and this is important. In that first 5-year term, if you're doing a 5-year term, you would have paid off about $198,000 on your mortgage, $58,000 of it going to the principal on your home, and about $139,000 going to your interest. You're paying a substantial amount of interest. So the balance of what you have left over now is $482,000, right? Because you've only paid off this $58,000 off the original amount. This $139,000 has been given away for that option to live in that home during those 5 years and pay the bank, the mortgage lender, the hard money lender, whatever way you're doing your financing. We are creative over here, but I typically suggest using standard methods because you're going to get the cheapest rates. And in this case, 5.5% is a lot of money to be paying. As you can see, your first 5 years you're going to pay $140,000 of interest. Now if you scroll back down here again to the very end of your term, you have now paid, in essence, total paid for the entirety of your mortgage. Remember, let's go back up here. This was for a $550,000 mortgage. 25 years later, you have paid almost double for that house. You've paid $990,000 for that home. If you're not going, wow, that's bad, you should be going, this is crazy. I just paid $990,000 for a home, right? That was $550,000. And that's not taken into account if you remortgage, if you move, if you upsize, if you change, if anything changes in your life, and typically it does. A lot of times that caravan's getting rolled right back into that mortgage because you need it for your family, that roof, that whatever. I see it all the time, people remortgaging things. They should have been long paid off, but because we haven't, either we're not bringing enough income in on accounts of whatever the reasons are for that, or we're not managing the money. And 99% of the time it's we're not managing our money correctly. This is because we don't understand how much we're actually paying. We just look at these little tiny monthly figures. In this case, to me, huge monthly figures. But we look at these monthly figures and go, well, I can attain that. I can pay for that. But we don't look at the end result. You just paid $990,000. And of that amount, if we look back down here again, principal, you paid $540,000 off, including your original $30,000 down payment. And you paid $449,000 of interest. So that'll give you kind of an idea of how mortgages work, and that's a standard one right now. Now let's move over to my first mortgage. Quite interestingly enough, I was suggested to get a 40-year mortgage with $0 down. They used to do this back before 2008, 2009. They were leveraging everything. As you've seen, everything collapsed. You cannot sustain economies like this. It's just going too long. There's too much debt. All the things that we're seeing right now, we're going to see a lot of things happen in the market. I can assure you, I'm already seeing bank sales. We're already seeing auction sales. We're seeing investors put up full portfolios, not just selling off 1 or 2 properties. There's a lot of nervousness and a lot of fear in the market. I've got investors that are losing money right now on accounts of they didn't stop buying. I stopped buying 2 years ago and told them to just take it easy. They kept on buying. When you start making a lot of money like that, it's very hard to pull back and say, oh, something's changing. Also, it's very hard to move super expediently fast to get these things done before the market changes so significantly. With those increased interest rates, it moved very significantly. It's even surprising to us as realtors, mortgage agents, everybody. It's quite honestly terrifying, and it's very sad for our clients as well. So if we look back at my first mortgage, we had to add the CMHC fee into it. The first place cost about $173,000. We added in about $9,000 on top of there. That's my CMHC fee. And then my loan term was for 40 years, 0 down at 4.56%. My monthly payments were $825 a month. And then my loan payments equated to about $400,000. So here again, I was going to pay double the amount for this property by the time I was finished paying for it. And then my total interest was $214,000. It was actually significantly more than my purchase price. So by the time I was finished with that, I was, paid double for my home. That's what kind of stimulated us when we almost lost our home to learn how to budget, learn how to manage our money, save some money, cancel things we don't need. You don't need, your Disney Plus account. You don't need your Prime account. You don't need all of these accounts that everybody has. We have cell phone bills. I'm a realtor, and I think I pay about $60 a month. When I help people budget, I'm typically seeing people around $80 a month to even $120 a month. That's just for you browsing and playing on Instagram and TikTok and whatever people do these days, okay? That's not even using your phone. This is my #1 tool that I use. And if I can do it, I can guarantee that you can do it as well. I don't think you talk to your mom in the States that often that you need a $120 phone bill. So basically, by streamlining your life, you can get away from this. My wife and I, after this mortgage, we actually purchased a duplex. We sold our property, sold our cars, sold all that stuff, went back to a single car family, went back to renting, paid off our debt. Took us about a year of no Tim Hortons coffee, No eating out, no movie theater, none of that stuff. We went to parks and beaches. That's basically what was free and what we did till we paid off our debt. And then from there, essentially, we saved our money. Once we knew how to save our money and paid off the debt, and then the interest rates, which were eating our money, erased. So now we saved incredibly fast. And from there, we purchased the duplex. I think it was 151.5 right here in town. And this time we did, and I should actually pull it up here, and I'm going to pull it up here. 20-year mortgage, and it's 151,500. And our interest rate was variable, and we started at 3%, which shows a payment of $840. So we're actually paying the same monthly payment, but you can see our interest rate. We paid $50,000 in accounts of 240 payments, right? But that's not true because we did not actually pay it off in that amount of time. So we did not give away this much interest. We actually gave away a lot less. So if I calculate the interest here quickly, we're about $4,000. If we even it out over the 4 years, we're $20,000. We paid about $20,000 of interest because we actually paid that place off. We saved so much money by living on one of our incomes, living well below our means, renting out the property above us to pay for our mortgage and our taxes and different things like that, that we were able to pay that place off in 5 years. If we can do it, we are not that smart. We are no different than you are. I was a pipe fitter here in town for about 10 years. You can do the same thing. We did this actually when I was a pipe fitter. I wasn't even a realtor then, which is actually pretty awesome. And I was making at the time of, I think, between $60,000 and $90,000 by the end. And my wife was working as a massage therapist. She started off about 30 and worked her way up to about 80 by the end. And so that gives you an idea on what we were making, how we did it. And that was my first mortgage. So as you can see from my first mortgage, we paid a lot of interest. In fact, we sold it within our first 5 years because the market dipped. We had a lacking of work all of a sudden, and we had to sell. Our prepayment penalty, very important thing to ask your mortgage broker about or your banker about, is your prepayment penalty. If you don't remember this, write it down. Please contact them and ask them what this is, especially if you're considering selling your house. Ours was about $18,000. So to get out of that mortgage or to sell that home prior, we would have paid that penalty, which is quite a substantial penalty. We were gonna lose our home and then pay another $20,000, to get out of that. We didn't have a choice. We just made it through it. Thank God everything worked out, and here we are today. It all worked out. So in the course of that 5 years, we paid $40,000 towards interest and $9,000 to principal. So when I found that out, I was actually pretty livid mad, as you can hopefully expect. I guess people aren't livid mad because we take mortgage like this every day. But basically, I said, well, why would we pay a mortgage so long with $40,000 going to somebody else and $9,000 of my hard-earned money only being paid down on my mortgage? From there is when my wife and I started to make that change. So I'm thankful for that 40-year, zero down, garbage mortgage that I had to start my life off, because it seared in so deep. And same with the 2008, 2009 declining market like we're seeing now, because those lessons learned have helped me to make better decisions and streamline my life so that things are much, much easier for my wife and I now. We've got a little bit of income put away for emergency sake. We've got investments paying for some of our lifestyle. We've got properties paying themselves down consistently. And through all of that, we're providing housing to people that can live in a beautiful home. We're living in a farm where it's producing some income as well. So had I not went through all that turmoil at that time, I don't think I would have learned these lessons. So if we take this in a positive light instead of a negative light and say, what can I learn from the scenario? I think this will be a really good learning season for a lot of people, and I hope that it's going to benefit you. If you want to learn anything more, I love this. I don't just like to do real estate. I love it. That's why I do it. Fully retired, and I love doing this, helping people out every single day, figuring out what your goals are, what you want to do, and then achieving them. I don't like to just want to do things. Let's just achieve them, figure out the route that we need to go. Sometimes it involves slowing down for a little bit. Sometimes it involves saving up money. Why take a zero down 40-year mortgage when I could have put 20% down, saved another $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 on CMHC fees, and I would have had that in my pocket to this day, right? $10,000 going back 14 years ago, could have turned that into a lot of money right now with the ways we understand how to invest. So yeah, if you're smarter with your money, it'll go a lot further. In this market, we really need to be. Don't make the mistakes I made. Don't be getting 30-year mortgages 0 down. It's terrible. I know they're not available now, but we'll see what's available in the future here as prices rose in the homes, and now they're kind of declining. Interest rates are high, and I think we're going to have different kind of options become available over the next little while because it's much harder to purchase a home at this current time. Thanks so much for watching this video. I look forward to working with you in the future, and if it provided value for you, please give it a like and tell a friend. Have a great day.